All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
This is one of the best political speeches I've heard in a long time. What? Well, I'll get to it. I'm going to play it for you in a couple minutes, so I don't want you to go anywhere. And it's contributing to the title of today's show, which is the mass exodus out of blue states into red states. Folks, the redistricting thing happened on Friday. It's a massive news day, and I'm going to play for you at the beginning of the show one of the best political speeches. Before the political speech, I'm going to show you here a classic Reagan's, bold color differences, no pale pastel speech. That's what we got to do. There is a reason that the two most successful electoral college popular vote presidents in modern times have been Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. Different speech styles. Donald Trump's a little more discursive. He's, I think, obviously a lot edgier, but you don't have any, there's no sitting there like doing a calculus equation to try to figure out where Donald Trump stands on an issue. Reagan was the same way. We've had a bunch of milquetoast pastel Republicans forever, and they get their asses kicked. If people don't have a choice between A and B, they're going to go with the party that, speaks in the most flowery language about the biggest giveaways where people feel like they can maximize, their own benefit. You have to speak in big, bold color differences. I got that. And ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump on the South Lawn talking about something I warned you about in my Hangout with Sean Hannity podcast. The Democrats are not messing around. They have thrown away any allegiance to the Constitution or the constitutional republic, giving it a double-barreled middle finger. We're in uncharted freaking waters right now. I can't emphasize that enough. All right, big show today, a lot to get to. Stay tuned. All right, I got to tell you something. If you're starting your day with a watered-down, big corporate coffee brand, it probably sucks. It probably tastes like brown water, and it's probably terrible. You're doing it wrong. That's not coffee. It's brown water. Every morning, this is the coffee I rely on. I love it. Love me some Brutal Awakening Blackout Coffee. Brew, B-R-E-W. Get it? Got it? Good. Strong, bold, no nonsense. Exactly how coffee should be. Here's the difference. Blackout Coffee is a small American company that actually shares your values, and they're proud of it. They roast some of the best coffee I ever had, but this is important. Don't just buy a bag. Join the coffee club. This is what I do. Your coffee shows up automatically. You save money, you get free shipping, and you're never stuck drinking brown water coffee again. You want to drink bold, great tasting coffee. Plus, you start stacking rewards. They even hook you up with a bonus credit after a few deliveries. Can't beat that. And right now, they've got some really cool limited releases for the 250th anniversary of the United States. You don't want to miss those. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Pick up some bold coffee today. Have a brutal awakening. Use code Bongino for 20% off your first order. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Join the coffee club today. Trust me, once you switch, you're not going back. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. Today's show also brought to you by All Family Pharmacy. Folks, you got to be prepared in an emergency. I was watching some movie last night with my wife and my daughter about a hurricane that hits. And folks, you don't want to be knocking on a pharmacy window. Hey, listen, my kid's sick. Get prepared today. Take care of preparedness. Protect your health for your family. Be prepared. Let's be honest. Moms are the first responders of the household. When someone gets sick or something goes wrong, they're the ones handling it. Everything runs through them, so we need to take care of them too. Today's the last day to take advantage of their Mother's Day sale at All Family Pharmacy. My listeners can get 35% off the entire website with promo code Bongino35. That's a big savings. Talking about maintenance medications, travel meds, emergency meds for summer, antivirals, antibiotics, NAD, I love that, ivermectin, mebendazole, hydroxychloroquine, and more, all in one spot. It's simple. Fill out a quick form online. They handle the rest. Licensed doctors review it, prescribe if appropriate, and your meds get shipped straight to your door, no hassle. No nonsense either. That's the way it should be. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino35 for 35% off your entire order. Sale ends tonight at midnight. Prescription required. Always consult a medical professional before taking any medication. This is not medical advice. Thank you, All Family Pharmacy. So, folks, we did not start the fire. You know the Billy Joel song? We didn't start the... I'm not much of a singer, so I'll spare you the horrors of my vocal cords. We didn't start the fire, guys. The Democrats did. Okay? They're the ones who started the fire and lit the Constitution on fire a long time ago. Here's the difference between us and them. And I was very clear about this on Hannity's show. The investigations we conducted during my time in government were based on actual we felt, illegal activity that we brought to a grand jury of all of the citizens' peers, and the grand jury handed down multiple indictments in a number of public corruption cases. I am totally comfortable we dotted I's and crossed T's. Absolutely comfortable. The difference between us and the Democrats is the Democrats had to make stuff up to prosecute Donald Trump and many of his allies. They had to make up the whole case in New York where there were no fraud victims. They had to make up the case against Donald Trump with the Jack Smith probe. This was based on bullshit, conjecture, nonsense, and basically a political axe to grind. That's what it was. Here's Donald Trump on the South Lawn of the White House talking about exactly this, man, how we didn't start this fire. They started this a long time ago. Stop starting the book in chapter 6. Start it in the beginning. Check this out.
Are you worried now that the next time there's a Democratic president, they will indict your FBI director or people in your administration?
That's what they tried to do, right? They did it with me. For 4 years, they went after me. They went after me for 4 years, and that doesn't include the 4 great years that we had in the White House. So when I ran it from, in 2016 when we won, it began before I got to office. You know that. Wait a minute. Before I came to office, I started hearing rumors about Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Nothing.
Is this more about justice or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it, and it's as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer.
You remember the movie The Sum of All Fears, the Jack Ryan movie with Ben Affleck and Morgan Freeman? There's already been a first strike. There's already been a first strike. Ladies and gentlemen, they were the ones about political retribution. They were the ones who did this. They could never get over the fact that a candidate like Donald Trump beat them in an election with their political scion, Hillary Clinton. They still can't get over it to this day. There's always been Bush derangement syndrome, in the campaign, Romney derangement syndrome. There has never been anything like Trump derangement syndrome, ever. It is a rare, almost fatal disorder on the left where they're willing to kill off their entire movement to take it to this one guy because they can't get over the fact that he beat them. And let me tell you why. To kind of tie this all together. The reason Reagan and Trump both scare them is that they don't talk like traditional Republicans. Traditional Republicans had to sweet talk everything. Well, we really should do this about SNAP and social welfare and all this other stuff. And, people need a boost and all stuff. You know what people need? People need work. People need to add value to society. They need to create things. They need to take discriminate operants and put them together and make them into bigger and bigger things called creativity. They need to work and add value to the world. They don't need to be coddled. They're not gentle little pieces of delicate china. Human beings need to be pushed. They need to fail a little bit. They need to fall on their ass, get up, dust off, get back to work, get fired from a job, come back to a job, do it bigger and better the next time. Get dissed by the University of Florida trying to get into school, go somewhere else and get straight A's and then get it back into University of Florida and their medical school or something. You need that. Reagan and Trump have been clear on this in their messaging. Folks, I'm going to play for you in a minute one of the better kind of, not so much a speech, but it's about a 1.5 minute soundbite. It's about redistricting, but it's about bigger than that. It's about speaking in bold, big, bright differences and not pale pastels. I want to remind you about this Reagan speech. I want to play a clip for you. This is the cut I'm talking about. One of the greatest speeches ever recorded, this Ronald Reagan speech. And if this isn't like a clarion call to how we should move forward as a Republican Party, painting the difference for people, it's what Spencer Pratt's doing right now in the Los Angeles mayor race. Stop pussyfooting around and bullshitting people and trying to be Democrat light. Tell people what they need to hear. They are not stupid. They're not delicate China dolls. They will figure it out. Listen to this.
There are cynics who say that a party platform is something that no one bothers to read and it doesn't very often amount to much. Whether it is different this time than it has ever been before, I believe the Republican Party has a platform that is a banner of bold, unmistakable colors with no pale pastel shades. We have just heard a call to arms based on that platform, and a call to us to really be successful in communicating and reveal to the American people the difference between this platform and the platform of the opposing party, which is nothing but a revamp and a reissue and a running of a late show of the thing that we've been hearing from them for the last 40 years.
I told you this on Friday. Reagan didn't F around, folks. He's talking about, government being the problem, welfare queens, how we need to paint big, bold, bright differences between the two parties. Trump does the same thing. That's why they were so afraid of the two of them. Why am I bringing this up now? Because look at what happened to Reagan in 1980. Man, this was just a slight victory. He only kicked ass all over, but nearly won every state in the union. Look at that. Carter and Reagan. Look at that race in 1980. And then he runs on the same message in 1984. Look what happens. He wins even more states, only losing Minnesota, where Mondale was from, and barely. Folks, you may never in your lifetime see an electoral map like that again. It is time to call these people out for what they are, and I am proud of the work we did to bring back the constitutional republic to a sense of normalcy, to a sense of balance, because these are the people we're dealing with. These are the people we need to paint the difference, show them the difference, create a contrast. I talk about it all the time. It is why those Spencer Pratt ads have gone viral and have been so effective. It has painted a picture for people of two choices. It hasn't kind of sanded down the difference between the two parties. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. This is what we're dealing with right now. He's not kidding, talking about maximum warfare. Now they're all pissy about what happened with the Virginia gerrymandered map and the Supreme Court striking it down. You'll never believe what they're talking about now. I'll get to that in a second. These are the people you're dealing with. These are the people we had to clean up this mess. It's going to take 4, 8, maybe 12 years to clean the mess up these people created. Check this out.
We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
Yes, we are. We are in an era of maximum warfare, and thankfully the Trump team understands that. This is how you fight back. This is how you talk about these issues. A listener reached out last week. For those in the chat, yay or nay on this, someone said, Dan, can you really briefly explain redistricting and gerrymandering, why it's so important? I will. I'll make it very simple. I promise. However, if we don't do what the Democrats are doing and redistrict these states that are growing in population and create fair districts and contiguous districts, we're never going to win a House majority again because the Democrats just don't care. This is Indiana Senate Majority Leader Chris Gordon. I saw this last week. Here he is talking about redistricting in Indiana, which was a whole big issue there. They didn't get the job done. Obviously, this guy's on the other side of it with President Trump. However, this is how you erase pale pastels and create big differences between the parties, not by pussyfooting around and bullshitting people. Check this out.
Some will say these maps are political. Let me be clear. Policy is political. Safe streets are political. Look at Indianapolis. Affordable electricity is political. Drug-free Indiana is political. Peace in the Middle East is political. Dealt with it firsthand. If drawing a map that secures 2 more seats for the Republican Party means that we continue to see overdose deaths drop by 20%, then I'll draw that map every single day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Come on.
If drawing a map means that we'll continue to see a 93% drop in illegal immigration, then I'll sign it with a smile on my face. We're not here to be neutral arbiters of decline. We're here to be active agents of American greatness.
You're damn right we are. That's how you explain it. That's how you get away from the pale pastel sanded down difference between us and the constitutional republic shredding Democrats. That's how you do it, man. Speak boldly, proudly, and maybe we can win 49 states again. like Reagan does it, like Trump does it, yes, you are going to get a lot of spitback from the left that's going to erase and throw out constitutional norms. Now, why is gerrymandering important? Ladies and gentlemen, it's really important you understand this. Call it redistricting, call it gerrymandering. Both parties do it. Let's not bullshit people. However, what Democrats want to do is they want, let's say that you have a district in, let's think of a really liberal place, Manhattan, New York, right? Very liberal, okay? I don't know what it is, 75% Democrat, maybe more, doesn't really matter. What the Democrats want to do is they want to create a district by carving up lines that uses the maximum force of those 75% Democrats. So what they'll do is instead of making, say, Upper Manhattan one district, they'll carve pieces of Upper Manhattan into like 50-50 type districts that may include like Staten Island has a lot of Republicans in order to make, say, you don't want a lot of wasted votes. So if the Democrat in a district that included Manhattan was winning 75-25, those are 25% wasted votes because they don't need 75% to win. They need 50, correct? I know I've explained this before. It's very simple. However, they don't want to make it too competitive either. They don't want to make it 50-50 because in a wave election, they could lose all the swing. That would be called the swing district. They could lose those all. They want a district that's like 55% Democrat, 58, maybe 60. So that leaves you 15% more, 60 to 75%. You take your 15% and you spread them around elsewhere. The problem is people in Manhattan don't have a ton in common with people from Staten Island issues-wise. Yeah, I mean, the basics, taxes, schools and stuff, but there are other issues local to Staten Island, landfills, other stuff. It's different. They want to spread people around everywhere. That's what they're doing. And they were doing it using race as a proxy. That's what they were doing. They were using black voters for this. And the Supreme Court got caught on and said, you can't do that. You can't carve people up by race. That's not how we do this here. It's the concept of what we'll call in the show excess votes. And not excess meaning not important. Everybody's vote's important and equal. It's that you don't need 75% in a district to win. You only need a buffer of like 5, 8, 10%. You don't need 25% extra. That's what they were doing. So if we don't fight back and do it ourselves, we are going to get our ass kicked. It's a simple math problem. Here's an open source zone update on where we stand right now with these new congressional districts, how around the country now Republicans are finally fighting back. Here's the Crystal Ball 2026 House ratings after the Virginia redistricting got their asses kicked in the court. Now we have pretty solid Republican seats, 211, pretty solid Democrat seats, 208. We have 16 toss-ups. We're probably going to have to win 6 to 8 to 10, maybe of those toss-ups, depending on what happens in some swingy districts and what turnout looks like in order to hold the House, which is super important. Folks, the Democrats are not giving up. They are not giving up. Don't think for a second Hakeem Jeffries is kidding when he tells you maximum warfare. He means it. This guy absolutely means it. And for them toning down the language, that shit is over. The Democrats are up in the red line on their language meter now. They're not lowering the temperature. They're raising the temperature. Here's Guy Benson on Fox covering, and I thought this was a joke when I heard this. So now that the Virginia gerrymandered map got struck down by their own Supreme Court, the Democrats in Virginia, this is insane. They want to up the ante and wipe out the whole Supreme Court. What do you mean? They want to institute an basically ex post facto age limit that is just below the age limit of all the members of the court now, so that all the court members now in the Supreme Court are aged out and they get rid of them. You may say, that sounds effing crazy. That's because it is. The only way Virginia can get rid of judges is by impeachment. And I believe 2/3 of the Senate in a trial afterwards. You can't just wipe them out because you institute a law after the fact to get rid of judges because you don't like their opinions. Do you know how insane this is? In case you think I'm making this up, I saw this on Fox this weekend. I'm like, is this an AI clip? No, this is real. Check this out.
New York Times is reporting about these machinations at least being discussed by some Democrats at high levels, one of which, as you just detailed, Joey, involves taking out the entire state Supreme Court. Just basically going back retroactively and saying, oh, you're all too old. The new cutoff is 54. You're all ineligible to be justices, so you're out. filling 7 seats with their own hacks and doing it again. That is banana republic, like total institution destroying madness. Then the backup plan that they're talking about doing, apparently, is to invalidate the 2020 constitutional amendment that was overwhelmingly supported by Virginians, that created the independent redistricting process that has actually brought about a fair map. And then the legislature would say, okay, that one doesn't count anymore. Now we'll draw these new districts. It's wild. I think there are some Democrats tapping the brakes on it, which they should be. If they seriously consider either of these things, it is seismic and like a red flag moment for the democracy that they pretend to care about. Don't do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, now do you see why there's a mass exodus out of these communist states? I never thought I would say that about Virginia. I lived in the Delmarva area. I lived in Maryland. I've lived in D.C. I know the area very well. Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. I know the area very well. Virginia was always a refuge from people who got sick of the Maryland commies and the D.C. commies running their wallets into the ground. Virginia's now become almost as bad as Maryland. Almost. I got a clip of the Maryland governor coming up in a few minutes. That's just insane. Wes Moore. He's like, okay with like his kid cutting their balls off or something. You're like, what? Did you say that? Maryland's still crazy. Virginia is right there like nipping at the heels right now. This is nuts. And don't believe the hype, by the way, that Donald Trump is like historically unpopular. This is just a media myth to get you to believe that it's not worth your vote. You shouldn't show up for the midterms. Your party is finished. None of that stuff is actually true. The Democrats are losing their mind in their maximum warfare mode. Donald Trump is fighting back, cleaning up their mess. He's a year in. He's tightened up the entire government. I got a whole bunch of things that are happening from the Nothing is Happening file coming up in a minute to give you some positive news. But the polls don't say that about Donald Trump at all. That's not what they say at all. Here's a Fox News pollster on the Laura Ingraham show saying exactly the opposite, that Donald Trump's actually doing pretty well considering it's a second term. Usually by then, there's presidential fatigue for anyone at that point. He's actually doing pretty good right now. Check this out.
Midterms are always tough for the party in power. They just always are. However, people will write off, of course, what happened in Indiana last night by saying, well, it was a primary election, state, Senate, House, doesn't really matter. What do you say to that claim?
Oh, goodness. I'm saying it again. Donald Trump is a force unequaled in the Republican Party. And let me just go to this point. There was about a month or so ago, I think we were talking about a month or so ago, you had a group of Republicans saying, oh, he's diminished, the war is killing him, it's taking his polling numbers away. His polling numbers among Republicans are the best they've ever been. He's on target. He's still strong with Republicans. And might I add something about Obama? I polled 2008 for Politico. I polled 2008 for Politico, okay? I know why Obama wants to have that old Republican Party. I know, because he crushed it. That's why. He doesn't want Donald Trump because they know Donald Trump's too tough to deal with.
Yes, exactly. Because like Reagan, he doesn't sand down the edges of what the conservative movement is. He speaks openly and proudly about it. That's why. Folks, there's a lesson in this. Please go listen to that speech, that entire speech by Ronald Reagan, whenever you get, a few minutes of your time. This is why this is not hard. This is why the Spencer Pratt campaign in Los Angeles. And again, I don't fall in love with politicians. I fall in love with results. I just want to be clear. However, results come from people, okay? People who enact and make decisions that lead to results. Whoever his social team is, that is just painting this big, bright, bold picture between the two parties has just made this guy like explode onto the scene, like Donald Trump did back in 2016. We've tried this before. Folks, the picture almost paints itself too. You're seeing now the difference with red states and blue states. There is a mass exodus going on. Liberal media people, listen to me. Cut the bullshit. Stop telling people this isn't happening. Oh, people are leaving blue states because of all kinds of things, weather and all. Bullshit. Listen, I love Florida a lot. Liberals, please don't come down here. We're closed. Justin, are we closed? We're closed. It's been confirmed. Martin County's definitely closed. No more, sorry, we're not taking any more applications. However, Justin, a Florida resident, Guy as well. Well, the whole team is there. Andy's like, what about me? I don't commute from New Jersey right now. It's hot AF down here. If you want to know what AF is, you can look it up. It's hot. There are a lot of bugs and wildlife down here. It's like freaking Jack Hanna's Animal Kingdom. I got moths around my house, the snakes, pigeons flying in and it's like a freaking zoo sometimes down here. I love Florida. It's a great place. But don't tell me people are moving down here for the weather. Look at my face. I was on a boat this weekend. Poor Jackie, the makeup lady's like, why is your face so dark? It's called photons. This says Florida's great, but it's hot. Cut the bullshit with the weather. People are moving to Florida because of another F. Stop using foul language. No, it's not foul language. It's good luck. Freedom. They want they want to be able to spend their own freaking money and be left alone and protect themselves with a firearm. That's it. Jackie's leaving. She's upset now. Jackie's like, I'm out of here. Jackie, I told you everybody's part of the show. Jasmine, everyone. You're part of the show, everybody. I'm going to show you a picture. You want to see what a mass exodus looks like? I'm going to show you a picture. A picture's worth 1,000 words. People are evacuating your corrupt communist blue states because they want to be, listen to me, listen. They want to be left alone. Stop having your red tape inspectors show up at my house. You know, your pipe on your gutter is a quarter of an inch too long. That's a $72,000 fine. We're going to confiscate your house. What are you talking about? You can carry a firearm in our state. You just have to go through a 72-hour interrogation under a polygraph, 42 different background checks. We're going to watch you under surveillance for 6 months, and you have a magazine capacity of 2. And by the way, you can't carry anything more than a BB. You can carry a BB gun. That's it. 2 BBs only. No. All right, I'm way over. I got to take a quick break. But I'm going to show you this picture in a second. You're going to see exactly what I mean. Stuart Varney had a great riff on this too. People are leaving blue states because your states suck. You understand? Listen to me. Your states suck. I'm really sorry to tell you this. But seriously, liberals, do not come down here. We are okay. Everyone else, do you want liberals out of your state? Shout out South Carolinians, North Carolinians, folks from Georgia. You want liberals in your state? Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi? Tell me, yes or no? You want liberals in your state? We don't want you. We don't want you. Stay where you are. Stay. Like they said in Braveheart, hold, just hold. Stay. Don't come down here. Florida's closed. Hell no. Hell, Arizona's checking in. Wait, who's checking in? RW in the chat. Free. Bump McGroin, Illinois sucks. Yes, it does. But don't come here. Everyone's saying their states are closed. Alabama, state's closed. Texas is saying, F no. Please don't join our states. We're not interested. Folks, weight loss injections are everywhere, but here's the catch. About 15% of users quit because of the cost, and another 15% stop because of side effects. A while back, I had to drop some LBs. I was getting a little gooey. It was post-cancer. I was trying to put back some weight. I think I overshot a little bit. I lost a lot of muscle, and not a sob story. I did. So I overshot. I was about 238. No good. My joints were killing me. I got to tell you something. After the whole cancer thing, I was really hesitant about some of these untried stuff, so I didn't want to get into it. So I said, Miles, help me out at Brick House. He said, Dano, I think he actually said Dano, check out Lean. He said, we're working on this product. Give it a shot. I weighed myself in the Publix this week. They have the scale, Jasmine, in the Publix? The Publix, I call it. My mother-in-law calls it the Publix. You know the scale they have in there? Yeah. I weighed in at 195. Yes, I should have took a picture. It's for real. Lean works. Justin's like, none of this is in the prompter. I know. Lean helped me tackle my hunger. It helps support steady energy needs without constant cravings. This stuff works. Like I said, I lost well over 30 pounds on it. Lean did something injections don't help my body turn fat into energy. So I burn fat instead of storing it. I feel a lot better now, a lot leaner. My joints feel better, which is important. My favorite part, Lean's a nutritional supplement, not a shot. No prescriptions, no needles. Give it a shot. I lost weight with Lean. Go look at my old videos. You'll see it. And I believe you can too. It's one of my favorite companies. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use promo code Dan for 20% off. brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Promo code Dan for 20% off. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. The products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or conditions, not a substitute or alternative for care from a healthcare provider. Thank you, Lean. Give them a shot. And happy to welcome back one of my favorite sponsors back on the show. They sent a care package. It's maybe Justin's favorite sponsor of all time. Justin, Andy was like, wow, it's one of the Bennies working here. They send, I told you. We got a nice pack from our friends at Zippix. Zippix. This episode is brought to you by Zippix nicotine-infused toothpicks, a clean, satisfying way to manage nicotine cravings without smoke, without vapor, without inhaling anything into your lungs. Zippix is changing the game around nicotine with toothpicks made from simple ingredients and quality plant-derived nicotine. Zippix can be used almost anywhere, even in places when smoking or vaping is banned. They come in 6 great flavors. They are great flavors, with options of 2 or 3 milligrams of nicotine, so you can choose what works for you. Zippix, Zippix, helps satisfy that oral fixation, hand-to-mouth habit many smokers and vapors recognize, and many people find them better lasting and less abrasive than pouches. They're proudly made right here in the USA. Zippix also, this is my favorite here, the caffeine and B12 infused toothpicks. Love them. Hundreds of thousands of customers have already added Zippix to their routine. Give your lungs a break. Try Zippix nicotine toothpicks today. Get 10% off your first order by using code Dan at checkout. Only at zippixtoothpicks.com. Zippix, Zippix, zippixtoothpicks.com. Use promo code Dan. Must be 21 or older to order. Product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Justin was very happy about the package this morning. He's still smiling. Jasmine's like, you really got to get it together today. You're way too energetic for today's show. It's a Monday. I slept good last night. Here's the picture that paints this is like, you want to see a bold difference? Here's Stephen Moore put out this tweet this week. People are evacuating blue states. Why? Because they suck. If they didn't suck, you wouldn't leave, correct? The biggest wealth transfer in American history isn't happening on Wall Street. It's happening on U-Hauls. Look at this number. This isn't a B and it isn't an M. It's a T. Over $2 trillion in income fled high-tax blue states for low-tax red states in just 11 years. And blue states' solution? Raise taxes again. Ladies and gentlemen, where are they going? They are going to Florida, to Texas, to Arizona, to South Carolina, North Carolina. Liberals, I'm sorry, the states are closed. Please stop. Where are they leaving? They are leaving blue, trending blue, and purple trending blue states to come to our states. Please keep the garbage policies in your states. Look at all the money that's left California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and now Virginia. What's the common theme? What are every one of those states led by? Yes, Democrats. Democrats. If they were so awesome, why is everybody leaving? We're so awesome, everybody thinks we suck and you can't find a U-Haul. How is that even a thing? How is it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, listen to me, friends. This is the biggest political story of our time. In addition to the Donald Trump presidency, which has transformed politics forever, it has messaging, the contours of what the Republican Party stands for. There's no doubt whether you like them or you dislike them, fine. That the Donald Trump MAGA revolution is an enormous story. However, the mass exodus out of shit blue governed states, because the people are really, I grew up in New York, folks. I lived in Maryland for well over a decade of my life. Some of my best friends are still there. Hardworking, retired police officers, they just can't leave yet. They got kids in school and other things. They can't leave, but they want to. It is the biggest story of our time. Because, go back to the beginning of the show, the contrast is so powerful. People aren't leaving purple states for other purple states. They're not leaving red states for other red states. They are leaving deep blue states, high taxes, overregulation, garbage schools. They are leaving them to head to red states that have the exact opposite: school choice, low taxes, the right to defend yourself. That's it. This is simple. Here's Stuart Varney. I saw this week in a great riff on this, that how big of a story this is. The exodus is real. It's happening in live time. And I'm talking about it just after the redistricting gerrymandering story, because folks, congressional districts, gerrymandered or not, need about 760 to 780,000 people to form a new or get a new district. As more people pile into red states, it's going to mean more red state congressmen. It's just a math problem for the left right now. Nobody wants to live in your states. Check this out.
Let the exodus begin. Oh, actually, it started already. We're talking about mass migration within the United States, from one group of states to another. This is America, and we move, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Consider this. In each of the next 3 years, 800,000 people will leave California and New York. That's 800,000 a year. Another 500,000 will leave Connecticut, New Jersey, and Minnesota. These numbers are from economists Art Laffer and Stephen Moore. Quote, millions of people, thousands of businesses, and tens of billions of net income will flee high-tax blue states for low-tax red states. That's the important point. People and money and jobs moving out of Democrat states and moving to Republican states. Taxes are what's doing this.
I got a lot of great content ahead. The problem is I just want to skip ahead for a second to show you again the contrast, okay? So now Stuart Varney said it accurately and correctly, probably a little more eloquently than I have. People don't want to live with Democrat communists. Why? Pull up that Bernie Sanders video. This is from a while ago. Why am I playing old Bernie Sanders? Old Bernie Sanders, by the way, he hasn't changed a bit. So old Bernie Sanders, he's the same communist he always is. However, do you want more of this? This is a question. By the way, this question is for independents and maybe moderate Republicans who are still considering long-term what their political home's going to be. For liberal Democrats, this isn't for you. You're already lost. I get it. But there's always a third person listening. So I'm always trying to coax more people onto the other side and build a bigger coalition. Do you want low taxes, jobs, the right to defend yourself, school choice? Do you want that? Or do you want more of this? Here's Bernie Sanders in one of the presidential debates warning us about how the world was going to end in 6 years. So technically, it should be ending right about now. So this is just like an easily provable thing. Is the world ending or not, correct? You want more of this or you want more red state freedom? Check this out.
Scientists are telling us that if we don't act incredibly boldly within the next 6-7 years, there will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada, not just to Vermont or Massachusetts, but to the entire world. Joe said it right. This is an existential threat. You know what that means, Chuck? That means we're fighting for the future of this planet. And the Green New Deal that I support, by the way, will create up to 20 million good-paying jobs as we move our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. This is a moral issue, my friends.
Hat tip Maze Moore for that great clip. So it's 6 years later. Do you notice how the Democrat Party is all performative bullshit? It's all an act, ladies and gentlemen. It's an act. It's a shtick. But here's the shtick. They're trying to tell you it's real. When you go to a play on Broadway, when you go see a movie, there's this thing called suspension of disbelief. Suspension of disbelief is that everyone in the movie knows it's fake, but we suspend that for a moment and we get emotional because we see the imagery and we want to believe it's real. Well, also, what's the point? No one sits up in a movie, right? Justin, you ever see someone get up in a movie and in the Braveheart scene, hey, that's not real. That's not a real war. Nobody does that. Everybody knows they're there to watch something fake. They want to feel real. So we suspend disbelief. The Democrat Party does the opposite. The Democrat Party is acting in a movie, but they want you to believe it's real. We may be using this a lot This may be Dan's favorite video of the day. Remember this guy, Justin Pearson? We played video of him last week, just at the insurrection in the Tennessee House. So they were voting on a new Tennessee map that was basically going to be a 9-0 Republican map. Justin Pearson is a Democrat from Memphis. I told you this guy's it's all an act. It's all bullshit. They don't care about results. They don't care about reality at all. They just care about the act and the performance. This video has been going viral all weekend. Here's Justin Pearson giving a speech in a church. And folks, this is real. This actually happened. By the way, this guy represents Memphis, which when we got into the FBI, Cash and I, is like the crime capital of the world. We cleaned up Memphis with the DOJ. We had a lot of state help also and local help. The cops down there were great. But make no mistake, Justin Pearson had nothing to do with it. I never heard from this guy once because he was too busy putting on the act. Why? Here we go. This is great. Man, he's got some moves. Look at this. That's bad for your knees, dude. That's bad. I got osteoarthritis. Don't. Especially in the shoes like that. Look at it. Here we go. It's all an act. This is all bullshit. I never heard a word from this guy. Not a peep. Justin, give us a ring, man. Why didn't you call us? Memphis. You supposedly you care about Tennessee issues and crime. It's all bullshit. This is the Democrats. This is Bernie Sanders. Bernie doesn't dance like that because he's a little older and he's probably got arthritic knees like me. Maybe AOC doesn't dance like that, but it's all an act. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a movie where nobody suspends disbelief. They think the act is real. They don't give a shit about real world results. Why are people leaving our states? Why are people leaving our blue cities? Because you suck. You suck. And you're mad at President Trump for cleaning up your cities. Axios, please. No friend to President Trump. Correct? Axios. Violent crime rates plunge in America's big cities, led by Democrats. Why is the crime rate plunging? Because the Democrats got all of a sudden tough on crime? Bull. Baltimore, Maryland, Suffolk County, New York. Lived in both places. Omaha, Buffalo, Aurora, Newark, Washington, D.C., Raleigh, Portland, Philadelphia. Crime rates plunging. Largest homicide drops we've seen in like forever. Who's in charge? President Trump, Todd Blanche, and Kash Patel. That's why. Because shocker, folks, when you go and arrest bad guys, they stop doing bad stuff because the bad guys are in jail. And it's hard to do bad stuff when you're incarcerated. Folks, we got to get better at this messaging thing. I'm telling you, don't sleep on President Trump's ability to cut through the fog of political messaging. He has obviously a different style than Reagan, but the ability to paint a contrast. Here's A, here's B. A and B are very different. A and B are very different. The Republican Party, I can't emphasize this enough. I just remember when I ran for office in Maryland. I remember all these people saying, Dan, you're running in a really blue state. You're going to have to soften the tone a little bit. I wasn't softening anything. Go back and look at my campaign ads. I didn't soften anything. I was running on a message. If we lost, we lost. If we won, we won. But I was not going to forfeit our principles. No way. Not a shot. So people tell me, don't talk about abortion, all this other stuff. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm running because I believe in these things. And that's it. And the one race, we nearly pulled off the upset of the millennium. A congressional seat, no Republican had come within 15 points. We wound up winning on election day and losing on a recount that the following week. Number two's number two at that point. Doesn't matter. The point is, the message resonated because it painted a picture of a difference. Folks, you have to explain to your kids that these parties are different. Elon got into the fray a little bit with this, and I love this tweet because this is so important. I get so sick of Democrats, academics, school teachers, painting this bullshit historical image about, the right-wing Nazis and all that. They were not right-wing. They were collectivist, government centralized power. Elon wrote, Hitler was a socialist. Therefore, all socialists are Hitler. I'm glad Elon's getting into the mix with his 400 million followers, however many he has on X. We have to start talking about this stuff. Why, Dan? It's the past. The past is prologue. There are people out there who still believe FDR saved the economy in the Great Depression. There are people out there who still believe that Nazis were right wing. Right wing about what? The right wing is about dissolving power out where it belongs with individuals. You think the Nazis empowered individuals? Tell that to the Jews. Tell that to gypsies and others. It wasn't just the Jews they tried to exterminate. They centralized and collectivized assets, and government ran everything. It's the same leftist ideology now. Tell your kids. Make sure your kids understand this. Don't let them rewrite the history of the Democrat South, that Democrats were the civil rights warriors. Bullshit. The Republican Party were the ones marching for civil rights. The Democrats joined the game later. Much later. Look it up. Kids, look it up. Don't take Dan's word for it. Look it up. You're going to find for the first time in your lifetime, you're being told the truth. Wow, he's right. They were fighting Democrats in the South who were the Jim Crow warriors. And I don't mean that in a qualitatively good way. Paint the picture. They need to see it. There is a difference between us and them. There is a difference, a big, bold difference. We believe in individual liberty and freedom. The collectivists, the socialists, the national socialists, the progressives, the Bolsheviks are all the same. No individual freedom. Give the power, the means of production all over to the government. It doesn't matter if they were Nazis, they were Soviets. They all did the same thing. Paint the picture. That's why I keep playing these ads, and it's not about lionizing any particular politician. I don't live in LA. But this Spencer Pratt campaign is, folks, it's like a PhD course in messaging. I don't know what's going to happen. I know Karen Bass, the incumbent mayor in LA, just bailed out of the debate because she's just getting crushed and smoked. I mean, that's never a good sign, okay? But Pratt does an interview with the local station out in LA. And he's just exceptionally good at painting this picture in a very blue area of the difference between him and the other guys. He makes it clear every interview. You would be stunned how many candidates cannot engage in the contrast effect. They want to blur the lines to make it seem like, hey, you know, I'm just a little better than the Democrats. People don't vote for a little better. Ask Donald Trump. They don't vote for a little better, especially in times like this. They vote for big, bold changes. Check out this interview Pratt did. This is really good stuff.
Do you think you have an actual shot, and how and why? I mean, it seems that the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah, thankfully, all my supporters in Los Angeles are Democrats. Everyone I know, my family, are all Democrats. I grew up in LA. I went to Crossroads. Everybody that texted me last night, amazing, congratulations, are all Democrats. So what people are confused on, the Democrats all are behind me. It's just the socialists and the communists that don't back me. But no, I'm confident I'm probably going to win with 51% on June 2nd because I don't do a political message. I don't do national politics. I don't do tribal politics. I don't talk about other states. I'm localized. I just want to fix our streets, get the lights on. I want people to feel safe. I want to get our tax money to not be robbed by these literal criminal NGOs stealing from our tax to increase the homelessness. So my message isn't political, it's common sense. So I have Democrats love me, Republicans love me, independents love me, libertarians love me, constitutionalists love me. It's just socialists and communists.
It's just socialists and communists that don't like me. Folks, I'm telling you, this is like a political science 700. Yeah, or else you have this. You have the dancing. You have the dancing routine. You have the performative bullshit, the non-suspension of disbelief bullshit, a movie everybody wants. They think it's real. This is not real. This guy actually lost his house in the Palisades fire. Really. There's a good podcast called All In Pod. They cover a lot of stuff. David Sachs, Chamath Palihapitiya. They're really good stuff. They get into politics, but it's not a politics-centric show. There's a lot of technology, AI, crypto. They'll talk about anything. They address this exact topic. Like this guy's social media team, Pratt, that is in LA. If there was some kind of gold medal of messaging, they deserve it because they paint the contrast. Reagan did, Trump did. Do you want a continuance of, no water in the fire hydrants during a fire, shitty public schools, or do you want this? He was asked a question, Pratt, about, it was great. The answer was fantastic. Hey, people are comparing you to Mamdani, the same interview, and he was promising like free buses. He's like, yeah, I'm promising free buses too, like buses free of violence, public urination, shit in the buses, like all that stuff. That's what you'll be for. That's a great answer. Contrast, me, Mamdani. Listen to the All In Pod guys talking about exactly this social media strategy. I'm telling you, man, take notes on this. You want to be an activist? You don't even have to be a candidate. You want to be an activist? Follow this team's lead. They're doing an amazing job. Contrast, check this out.
Spencer Pratt, if he wins this election, which I think he's going to in Los Angeles, the reason is what Brad said. Those ads are incredible.
Yeah, well, he's up against Karen Bass, who's the mayor, who is basically extremely left-wing. And then there's someone who's a city councilwoman who's even further to the left of Karen Bass. I mean, she's often like Fidel Castro territory.
She's an Indian Fidel Castro.
Ramen. So she was basically, I guess, criticizing the mayor for the homelessness problem. And then Pratt pointed out that this councilwoman is actually in charge of all these homeless programs already.
He said if she went to the street, she'd get stabbed in the neck.
Yeah.
Which is pretty accurate if you've been to Skid Row. I mean, you would not want to walk through there. Oh, God. This clip is brutal.
This is a different clip, but this went super viral. It reminded me of Trump a little bit.
Let's see.
I'm not sure how to respond to that vision of Los Angeles. This is a MAGA Republican's idea of what Los Angeles looks like. This is really not.
Unbelievable. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you got to watch Pratt's response to her comment about him being a MAGA Republican. It's just natural and normal. And again, snapshots and sound bites. That's all politics is. The snapshot is just glorious. However, we are concerned about results. Get back to the serious stuff. Results. Show me the spreadsheets. Remember Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr.? Show me the money. Show me the freaking spreadsheets. And the Trump administration has them. I just showed you that Axios article. You think crime is down by accident? The only reason I don't talk about this story more is because I don't want it to be perceived as self-serving given my prior position. I would talk about this every day. But I don't want to bore you to death with stories about things we changed, DOJ changed. We're not the only ones. Secretary of War, Secretary of Agriculture. There's big, massive changes going on right now that the media is either tamping down, playing down, or just doesn't want to tell you about because they don't want to paint a contrast from basically the 4 years of ineffective bullshit, non-suspension of disbelief Biden era, and the Trump era now. I'll show you what I mean coming up in a second. Last break. I've got a lot more content for you. Folks, I am very concerned with privacy online. We have incidents, sadly, all the time. We actually had one this morning. I wish it weren't the case, but we get a lot of crazies out there. Criminals exploit weak systems. I know this. I've seen it firsthand through my career. It's exactly why I'm proactive about my own privacy. I guard it. I don't wait for something bad to happen. I take control. That's why I use and recommend Delete Me. It's an amazing service. It's never been easier to find personal information online. Your home address, phone number, even your family's names can be exposed, and they go and find pictures. It's terrible. And that can have real-world consequences. Believe me, I know. Today's bad actors use this data to target public servants, businesses, and everyday people for their opinions. Everyday people, it's not just public figures. They don't like you, they come for you next. With Delete Me, you can protect your personal or business privacy from doxing before sensitive information is exploited. Do it today. Seriously, don't wait on this. It's critical to take action now. Delete Me makes it super easy. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now with a special discount for our listeners. Do it today. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Use promo code Bongino, Bongino at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino and our code Bongino at checkout. Please do it today. Protect your private information. Keep it private. That's joindeleteme.com/Bongino, code Bongino. Thanks, Delete Me. Here's what I'm talking about. For the nothing is happening crowd and all the blue state folks who tell us nothing is happening and then evacuate to red states where things are happening. There are things happening in blue states too. There are. Yeah, because you exist in a federalist system where the federal government has jurisdiction on many issues over blue states too. So there are things happening, like crime dropping in blue states, despite the fact that they're led by blue state mayors and blue state governors who don't give a shit about crime. I'll never forget the Trump team and the DOJ, everybody being on board early. I remember when Mamdani got elected. I called up the assistant director in charge of New York. I told him, we don't work for Mamdani. We're going to go in there and clean up these open-air drug markets, whether he's on board or not. I don't give a damn. Federal charges are federal charges. We don't need this guy. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's a media clip about government jobs. Do you know how many people in the Republican Party have talked about shrinking government? Guys, ladies, we could run a montage that goes on for 15 minutes of Republicans engaging in the same performative dance routine bullshit Democrats do. I'm sorry, but it's true. We're going to cut down government. We're going to lean out government. We're going to trim the fat. We're going to cut the waste. You've heard all the euphemisms, all the phrases, all the bullshit. And honestly, most Republicans outside of like a few members of the Congress and the Senate, certainly not many Republican presidents over the years, have trimmed down government. This is, again, one of those stories you need to hear more about. Here's the media forced to cover the fact that the explosive private sector job growth is even more impressive because Donald Trump's job numbers would be even bigger if he wasn't in the process of actually doing what Republicans have said for generations and trimming the federal government payrolls. I'm not kidding. Check this out.
This is a payroll for the last 2 months dominated by private payrolls. How do I know, Nicole? Another 9,000 federal jobs lost. That means since the peak in October 24, remember that date, the federal government is down 348,000 jobs. That's 11.5% cut in the federal workforce. Despite that, jobs are gaining. It's all private sector. It's quite amazing, actually, Nicole.
You get where we're going with this? Donald Trump could easily pad his job numbers in his administration. He's the head of the EOP, Executive Office of the President, by just expanding the federal workforce like Republicans who claim to be doing the opposite have done forever. But he's not, because he's not full of shit. He's actually committed to trimming the federal government at his own expense, messaging-wise, not results-wise. There's more from the nothing is happening file. These are things that are happening. These are real numbers. My favorite graph. It's getting bigger. Look at the shelves of things happening from the nothing is happening. We have to, you know when they say those things on Twitter like, you know, make this guy's Pinocchio nose grow longer every time, every 1,000 likes. We have to make that thing bigger, like every week, because the nothing is happening file is expanding. We have probably the best Secretary of War, formerly Secretary of Defense, we've had in decades. You got a guy who went in there, and Pete Hegseth, who is a friend, but I'm not saying this because he's a friend, who went in there as a transformation agent. He wrote books about everything that was wrong with the military. And the difference is, like President Trump, he went in there and actually did it. Do you have any idea how many Republicans have been appointed in this position who've talked about procurement problems at the Pentagon, government waste at the Pentagon, and almost nothing was done about it? Pete and his DepSec over there, Feinberg, went in there, and they call him Deal Team 6. This is great. Check this out. We cut it down to just a minute. But here's a video Pete put out where finally, no more bullshit. They're actually doing this stuff, saving you billions of dollars of waste on weapons we don't need and projects that are stalled. It's actually happening. Check this out.
A broken Pentagon bureaucracy was doing the same thing for decades. When our warfighters needed more weapons, aircraft, and ships, the Department of Defense allowed contractors to double dip at your expense. They charged you, the taxpayer, to build their factories, and then charged you again for the final product. And despite paying companies to make weapons faster, schedule delays were constant, and cost overruns were the norm. All while their CEOs got rich. But today, President Trump's War Department is flipping this rigged system on its head. We're not tolerating delays in production or cost overruns anymore. We've pushed out the bureaucrats who've made these deals in the past and replaced them with the most talented negotiators in the private sector. A group of businessmen so elite, they've been rightly dubbed Deal Team 6.
We need Deal Team 6 in there. Do you have any idea how much money was being wasted? How many people talked about doing things like about it and just didn't and just sat on their asses and did like the dance instead? Keep people distracted, dance a little bit. No more dancing. No more dancing. It's time for action and spreadsheets and money savings and job cuts where they're needed and job growth where it's needed and school choice where it's needed and low taxes where it's needed. No more dancing. Stop falling for this bullshit. Here's another one. You need more? Here's Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, on food stamp reform, otherwise known as SAP, SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. You know how many people are on these government assistance programs that don't belong there? And Republicans for years, this goes back to the beginning, the big, bold differences, no pastel bullshit. They were like, oh man, you can't talk about that. There are a lot of people in need getting food stamps. Yeah, maybe. But the number's not what it is now. Do you know how many people are just coasting on these programs who have 4 limbs and a functioning brain, who could go out to work to feed themselves, but because we provide this assistance, they don't? You're stealing from them their ability to create and add value to the world. You're putting them in the matrix, man. You're plugging them in and just barely keeping them alive. You're actually stealing from them by putting them on benefits programs and making a life comfortable where a bit of uncomfortability would motivate them to go and do bigger and better things. Donald Trump's not talking about it. He's doing it. Check this out.
We've already moved about 4.5 million people off of food stamps, off of SNAP in just the last year. More to come as the work, we've got more people going to work, et cetera. But the flip side of that, Dana, is for the 240,000 retailers in America who take the SNAP dollar, what are they stocking on their shelves? So many of our communities get most of their groceries from the corner gas station or the bodega. So what are we doing? So we just announced, instead of only stocking 12 real food staple items, if you're going to accept the taxpayer dollar under the SNAP program, you now have to stock at least 28 of those real foods. We're closing the loopholes. Before, if you had jelly on your shelf, that counted for a fruit. And if you had jerky hanging there, that counted for a protein like a rotisserie chicken, but no more.
Listen, I love jelly, okay? Jelly's fantastic. Please stop, okay? Jelly is not the same as a grape. It's not the same thing. Not only are they pulling people off SNAP that don't belong there, but they're telling these retailers, you don't have to take the government money, but if you do, I'm really sorry, we're not selling jelly as a grape. We're not doing it. Do you have any idea how this has been discussed forever? And Republicans don't do it because they're afraid. They want to take the edge off the politics. Oh, there are people in need. There are always people in need. The way to get them out of need is to incentivize them that a little bit of uncomfortability, fall down, dust off, and get back up. You can improve your own life. Stop making people's misery comfortable. Folks, the bench for us is just deep, man. We've got so many good qualified candidates, and the Democrats have dancing Justin Pearson. This is the Democrat Party. This is really, it's all performance, all show. We've got a bunch of ringers. Rubio's been impressing the shit out of me lately. I got to tell you, man, this guy is just like bringing it every single day. Reminds me of the Wu-Tang song. I came to bring. He is just. I saw them, by the way. I think it was in Forest Hills when I was like 18. I don't think we were allowed in that club. We might have snuck in. I think the statute of limitations run out on that, so I think I'm good. This guy's just bringing it. He's asked a question about, the ceasefire. Hey, they hit us, and I thought that was a ceasefire. They hit us, of course we're going to hit back. What do you think, we're morons? I love the way he talks to these media people and points out their stupidity. Check this out.
There's not much seizing in the firing because we've
Well, you should ask that of the Iranians. Don't ask me. We didn't fire. They fired on us. My point is, if you fire at a U.S. Navy ship, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh, there's a ceasefire. We're not going to shoot down your drone. That's a stupid question. That's a stupid position to take. Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at. And we're not a stupid country.
No, we're not a stupid country. However, we do have a stupid party that prefers dancing and performance rather than actual results. And that's why we have to paint contrast like Spencer Pratt's been doing and Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan did too. When we do it, we win landslides like 1980, like 1984, like 2024. That's when we win. Not when we pussyfoot around and sand the edges down. You want more of this? Here's Maryland Governor Wes Moore. This is one of the most bizarre clips, I got to tell you, even for a guy like this who's a far-left radical Looney Tune. This is crazy. Here's the governor asked a question about his young child on, I think he's with PBD, Patrick Bet-David. Good man. Ran into him at the UFC. Good guy. Here he is asking him like, hey, your young child, like, what if they want to like mutilate their bodies? This is like the craziest answer I think I've ever heard. Check this out.
Your son comes in saying he wants to transition. What do you do?
Well, first, if it's my son, so I love him regardless, right? And he's always going to have my undying love. That's me, right? I want to make sure that I'm involved in understanding where he is, how he's feeling, the way he's feeling, why he thinks it's important. And I want him to always know that he has a partner in me to help him along that journey.
Would you advise him to wait till he's 18?
If this is how he is feeling and I feel like I'm closely tied to him, I'm not going to advise him on something that he feels is
at 14 years old, Wes?
No, I understand it. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to condemn him nor castigate him. I'm not going to kick him out of the house. I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that I'm involved.
You know what? I think I need to paint the contrast too. Let's go to the GOAT first here. You know where I'm going with this? Now, you have choices, correct? We've been talking about it the whole show. You may say, Dan, why do you keep repeating yourself? It's annoying. Sorry, it's supposed to be annoying. You know why? You want to hammer home a point, and I want to win. I'm an activist first. Tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. We are different than you. Yes, the liberals who are watching my show, who are obsessed with me. By the way, I love it, the fact that I own you guys. You can't stop. You're just like, the obsession is just, I saw it this morning. It is insane. I must drive you crazy. Why? I don't know. Why this particular show drives you so freaking bananas is just like, it's honestly fascinating to me. I like my show, but the level of like insanity I see in response to, it's just crazy. But I'm going to paint a contrast for you right now. You want more of that? Wes Moore. I cut my kid's balls off or something. Just they say, well, maybe you should try to talk him out of that. Just an idea, Wes. By the way, Wes has a problem. Wes might run for president. Wes's background is up there with kind of Da Nang Dick Blumenthal. Like, it's kind of like he's all over the place with his background story. We got to like iron that out. Well, you Democrats do before. Not that they really care. However, it's really important for like the rest of us, you know? Or do you want this guy? Clarence Thomas, ladies and gentlemen, is the GOAT. I've been playing a lot of clips, and I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I'm mentioning it now. One of the reasons I keep mentioning this is Clarence Thomas is now the second longest serving justice. I think I mentioned it on Friday, but this guy has just been an anchor for our movement for so long. And I think the shame of it all is that the mainstream, if Clarence Thomas was a Democrat, he would be on his own Mount Rushmore. They'd have a judicial Mount Rushmore, and they'd be carving his face into it. But because he's a conservative and a brilliant one who understands messaging as well as anyone, and is a real badass, by the way, liberals just play down this guy's legacy. And it's really a shame. I want to remind you, man, when he was going through one of the worst before social media just attacks and most disgusting things you've ever seen because the liberals were so afraid of him, just like they were afraid of Reagan, afraid of Trump, and this is now in LA. They're afraid of Spencer Pratt too. I'm not comparing them all in their careers. I'm just saying they're afraid of people who paint these just big, bold contrasting differences. They asked him why he wasn't bailing out of his Supreme Court nomination hearing, despite brutal, disgusting, filthy attacks against him. This is one of the greatest responses ever. This guy's the GOAT. Check him out.
I'd rather die than withdraw. If they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me.
So you'd still like to serve on the Supreme Court?
I'd rather die than withdraw from the process. Not for the purpose of serving on the Supreme Court, but for the purpose of not being driven out of this process. I would not be scared. I don't like bullies. I've never run from bullies. I never cry uncle, and I'm not going to cry uncle today, whether I want to be on the Supreme Court or not.
Praise the GOAT! The GOAT!
I didn't see that. That's pretty good. That guy is a warrior, man. So all the young kids listening, the teenagers out there, I'm happy to have you, man. You are obviously the future. I'm not going to be around. I'm not dying or anything. I'm just saying I'm 51. I mean, let's hope I make it 50 more years, but you're the future. You got a lot more life ahead of you. You don't need the dances and the routines and the bullshit. You need a guy like that who articulates a vision of freedom and liberty that people are moving to in a mass exodus. Folks, last story of the day, piece of good news for you. I am very, very happy that there was a decision made into real tragedy. Obviously, the brutal assassination and murder of our good friend Charlie Kirk. But the judge has ruled on transparency and openness in the courtroom. I think this is a really good decision. Fox covered it as it was breaking last week. And I'm all in. The public should see everything they can. You should see it. So check this out.
Cameras will be allowed in the courtroom for the entire Charlie Kirk murder trial. The case against his accused killer, Tyler Robinson, is the case we're talking about. And we also learned that a preliminary hearing is set for early July. It was supposed to be in May, so that's a little bit of a delay.
I wish the case was moving along just a little bit quicker, but that's not for me. However, we should see everything. I think it'll make a big difference. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Who's it? Braxton C7. Thank you for coming back to the show, Dan. I've started new supplements. Also been consistently doing my exercise snacks. Good for you. 10 squats an hour. Got 4 colleagues to join me too. May God bless you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. You didn't left $1 tip. You don't have to leave tips. I appreciate it. Very nice of you. Justin's like, wait, isn't this going into my Give, Send, Go, Justin? Justin's like, speak for yourself, man. Thanks again for tuning in. You got Haley coming up at noon, rumble.com/Haley. Show's been kicking butt, taking names. Vince every day had a huge audience this morning, 8 a.m., rumble.com/Vince. Please check them out. Their live streams and their chats are always active. We love to have you in the Bongino Report, Bongino Inc. family. Thanks a lot, folks. Also, rumble.com/Bongino. If you want to watch the show on the web, it is free. Click that follow button if you want to get notified every day when we go live. You can also download the Rumble app. I will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
I'm Haley Caradia,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report,
live 8 a.m. Eastern weekday mornings,
weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find podcasts. Thanks for watching.